All right. When we talk about branding, we talk about standing out and being unique. Welcome to the Business Plus with me, Rachel KAHUGU. Now, today we have a brand and it's very interesting. We say that business is more than meets the eye. Come with me as you know more about his story. Hi.
Hi.
How are you doing?
Doing well. How are you?
I'm very fine.
Yeah.
Pleasure meeting you.
Pleasure. It's all mine.
Introduce yourself.
My name is GITAU. I am the founder and CEO of Born of God.
Born of God.
Yes.
All right. Now, as we start, why did you choose Born of God? Like, why the name Born of God?
So the story starts and tracks back a bit, where I've faced identity crisis for the longest time.
All right.
Struggled with self-awareness and my self-esteem as well.
Okay.
But then, so when I came to know God, and I'm a Christian, and I believe in God.
All right.
So when I came to know God, He started introducing me towards who I am. So I am from a single mother, proudly. So that probably also tells you why I faced a lot of identity crisis. So in 2017, God was really teaching me about identity. And that year, God just told me, like I was just sleeping, got this vision for, God just told me you are born of God. I didn't even know that's a verse. I didn't even know what that thing is.
So that's where the whole Born of God came.
Yeah, so that's where the name came from. So like I just had a voice telling me you are born of God. I didn't know what that meant.
All right.
So I googled. I googled and said, Bible verse about born of God. So I got 1 John 5:1. And that says everyone that believes that Jesus is Christ is born of God. And that's where the journey of number one, God fathering me and my sonship started.
Okay. And now where did you now start the whole brand? First, you've said there's a difference between brand and branding,
Yes.
right? So yours is a brand.
Mine is a brand. A branding company is a company that you'd go, you outsource to customize for you something. So if you want a hoodie written Rachel, you go to a branding company.
So they'll write for me whatever I want.
Whatever you want.
But now for these, maybe like these cups here.
Yes.
Hakuna kitu ingine itaongezwa, it's just Born of God.
Yes.
So that's what a brand is.
Exactly. So
All
it's
right.
exactly what you see is what you get.
Okay.
We are very intentional on our designs. So exactly what you see, what we advertise, it's only what you will get.
So what you see is what you get.
Exactly.
All right. So at 2017, you got the word Born of God, right?
Yes.
And now where did the brand start? 2017 or much later?
It started much later. So as I said, the journey for my identity started in 2018. But then continually, so a lot of I am still a blogger. So I was a blogger and a couple of my audience was asking for t-shirts and how I can brand myself more. I remember on my birthday in 2018, a friend of mine bought me a t-shirt written Nick GITAU, the Born of God, and I really didn't like it. I didn't like the t-shirt at all. I didn't like the idea of branding myself as wearing t-shirts and hoodies written my name. To what end, you know? So, and I remember I didn't even wear the t-shirts for like 2 weeks, right? I just didn't like the t-shirts. But then that journey started. I felt like God, now looking back, I feel like God was starting that journey. So in January 4th, 2019 at 8 a.m. is when...
Mbaka
time. I remember I received that vision so specifically. God telling me, start a clothing. He didn't say a clothing company, just you start a brand called Born of God.
Born of God.
And
now, all right. Now, with the young people we have nowadays, a lot of young people don't identify themselves with Christ as such. So for your brand, now that you are Born of God and it's very clear this is a Christian brand.
Yes.
How does it affect you? Maybe do you have like the market where to sell them? And
I mean, it's interesting because our brand, Funny thing, number one is because it is through the word of God. So number one, born of God actually means, in our own interpretation, it means two things. The fact that number one, it was born of God, that it is from him, right? Then number two is that we are his children and we are walking as his children. So there's a verse in Romans that says, I am not ashamed of the gospel of Christ, for it is the power of God unto salvation. And that same power is exactly what has probably helped us to grow as we have grown.
Right.
So our point is not to dial down. Our point is to be as loud and to be as unashamed of the gospel, because that same power is what will help people by
the cloth. All right. I know you've mentioned somewhere that before we started, you mentioned that you started with 500 shillings.
Yes.
So the whole Business Plus platform is for people out there who maybe don't have enough capital to start a business, and they're feeling like, with 500, what can I even do? Now tell me about it. With 500 shillings, mlifikaje hapa? We can see that you have a lot of things already.
So the story is very interesting, majorly because even the 500 wasn't even from my own pocket. It's my mom gave me 500. She didn't know what it was about. I was going for a Bible study, and I told her I need transport and all that to go. So the 500 is, but then the story is literally a whole great story, because immediately I got the vision. I had the graphic designer to call. She was remarkable and such a gift up to this day.
What's her name?
Her name is Purity Chemutai.
All right, Purity, thank you so much.
Yeah, so she designed our first design, Born of God. Then I got a friend of mine who was a brand ambassador of a production company, of a clothing production company, DJ Swaj. He's a bit of a popular DJ in Kenya. So he connected me to the CEO of the production company, and that's where I was able to also just have 500 bob to start my own thing. So just bought a t-shirt, gave them the design. So I was started off sort of like branding in a sense.
So you already had your design in mind?
Yes. So within the vision, when God told me to start, I had the vision in mind. Like he already gave me the vision. He told me exactly what to do. We even have a small detail within our designs, especially for the Born of God. We have a small detail that's written ID. After Born of God, it's ID. That small detail is very intentional because it means identity. So aside from a trademark, so much as we've trademarked our business and our intellectual property, we pride ourselves not to be just a trademark. We are an identity. Yes.
All right. And now maybe for someone who is getting like encouraged to start such a business, akona capital and everything, what else am I supposed to get? Is there, as you start that young business, do you need any certification or something like the licensing?
So I think trademarking is very expensive. So which means by the time you're trademarking, you have to be sure about this product. You have to be sure about the business in itself and what you're offering. So that, and it also needs to be validated by customers. So which means it took a bit of time for us to be able to trademark. We actually trademarked in 2020 after we saw the viability of the business. So I wouldn't say that you should actually trademark. It is important to trademark so that nobody else replicates your designs or whatever it is. So I mean, first of all, register your business, sole proprietorship. I think it's around 950 bob right now. Register it, probably get a till number, register for a bank account. So those small things that would probably help you see yourself as a business as opposed to just as a personal entity.
So it's very important for one to be a whole business first, instead of just being like a personal project.
Yes, so it is important. Then I've seen Kekobo also have a platform where you can register your artistic designs. So say for instance, like our design, any design that we have, you can register at Kekobo to be able to just own the rights to the design. Yes.
Now, being as a brand, Born of God,
yes,
do you have your own, like, your own machines and everything ya kubrand na kufanya kila kitu, ama how do you go about it?
So it's interesting that we don't own anything.
So what do you
in
mean
terms
you don't
of the
own
machinery
anything?
and all that. So God has just been so gracious to us, where we've grown in our value chain. I would say that we are very far ahead in our value chain, as opposed to what we if you tell anyone about our business, what they'd ideally think that we do, or where we are. So we outsource, we produce mass in a manufacturing company in Kenya. So which means our bomber jackets literally are made from scratch and everything.
What do you mean made from scratch?
So we come up with the designs.
Okay.
We come up with the designs. We think about where the pocket is going to be. Literally everything. It's more fashion design in a sense. So we do that, and we now produce bulk.
So you have your own fashion designer?
I do that myself. I've been able to learn on the job, but then we are definitely looking to upscale and have a more competent person to be able to do it. Yeah.
All right. So for example, maybe I want such a shirt, but nataka tu moja. You've said that you produce in bulk.
Yes.
If ninatakana ku outsource maybe a company or a manufacturer out there, haizi manufacture moja.
Yes.
How do you go about it? And maybe I'm so specific. I want this specific color, this specific size.
So it's very easy in that there are tailors in Nairobi. So actually, before we started outsourcing in like manufacturing companies. I used to do it with tailors in Nairobi. So you can go in River Road. There are different tailors who make hoodies, who make sweatpants, who make your sweatshirts. But then be idealistic and practical in what product to start with, because you'd find you have that specific design, but then it cannot be achieved by a specific tailor. The people I work with right now are people who produce for big companies in the US and all these things. But then starting small is a tailor who can make one product for you. The only disadvantage is it's going to be very expensive for you to produce, but then which means your profit margin based on what you want to sell, it's going to be very minimal.
And now what do you think would be the difference if you had your own manufacturing company and you wouldn't have to outsource most of the things?
I mean, so number one, the efficiency in the whole, our whole supply chain. So the efficiency is going to be way better. Number two is definitely as a business is that our profit margin is going to be bigger.
Way bigger,
Yes, so that's going to be, and number one, or rather the other thing is that we have capacity now to be able to produce any other thing that we ever think about. So for instance, venye nimesema, how you can't, when you go to your local tailor, based on the specific, there are designs they can't achieve or anything like that. So owning our own value chain is going to propel us to probably diversify our products way faster, which now speaks for efficiency and effectiveness.
All right. Okay, I want you to give us some 5 minutes tip to someone out there who wants to start such a business. As we come back, I'd want you to tell me about now after you've given the design and unataka itengeneze kwa the manufacturer. What about now the born of God?
Yes.
Is it from the same manufacturer or is it a different place? Because now it means that you'll incur more cost on it, right?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go to the tip, then we'll be back.
Hi, I'm going to teach you about how to start a brand. First of all, let's demystify what a branding company and a brand is. So a branding company is a company that is outsourced to be able to customize different designs or products for individuals or specific, say companies, say for instance, their corporate profiles, their mugs, their merchandising, and pretty much their whole corporate outlook. So that's a branding company. A brand is a company that that looks to sell a specific selling point, and it has its own values, it has its own specific design or outlook of how they want to the consumer or the public to look at them. So think about it as Born of God. Born of God is a brand. We actually pride ourselves to be a lifestyle brand as opposed to just any other brand. So we have our own designs. Say, case in point, what we have our own designs, specific designs. Nobody can call us to probably add a specific other design or do a replica of another design. We have specific sets of designs, outlook, and every other thing that we ever produce is going to be Born of God or any other collection from us as Born of God. So that's the difference between a branding company and a brand. So let's get to how you start. You start by probably identifying what your unique selling point is. So what would you want your customer to understand about you as a business? What's your brand image? What's different aspects of the brand? Say, for instance, designs. What is probably your main goal, your vision, and your mission? For instance, in our vision is that people globally know and walk in their identity, and that's the overarching vision for Born of God. What that looks like in business is that we want to be a staple brand in Africa and the globe that produces products, services, and experiences that merges identity, authenticity, and modernity in fabric, experiences, and services. So that's pretty much our vision and our mission in itself. So what does that look like with what you want to formulate? Practically, if you want to form a brand, come up with a unique design, probably partner with a specific graphic designer who can be able to do a specific graphic design. Go to a branding company. So now that's the difference. Go to a branding company who are able to probably get you your first product, which is what I did. Our graphic designer is also able to get you a computer-generated design of what the t-shirt would look like. It's called a mock-up. So get that specific mock-up and start selling. It's going to be your MVP. An MVP is a minimum viable product. So that's going to be the first thing that you sell with and show people how the design looks like. From then, if you're able to sell from the mock-up, well and good. But then it's important for your customers to understand or to see how that looks like on a person. And that person is you if you don't have any other person. So do that, then go to register. Register sole proprietorship. It's about 950 bob on eCitizen. So do that. Probably have a bank account. Register with Safaricom for a till number, or you can actually register with your bank account to give you a till number so that finances are wired directly to your bank account. Trademarking, we have trademarked, but then trademarking is going to be way later, so that you give your business period to tell you what it is. You give your business period to also have a validation. There's something called validated learning. Validated learning is more when customers get to buy your product, customers get to explain to you what, or rather give you feedback of how you can improve your product, so that by the time you have a series of consistent customers, then you can trademark your designs. That is when probably now you see your business as scaling as opposed to just where you're at. So that's when you trademark. You can also copyright your designs with Kekobo. That's if you want to go that route of a brand. Start with a branding company. Wherever you go, they're going to give you a specific charge of what that looks like. So that's the small tip of how you can start a brand. I am Nick GITAU, and you're watching Business Plus.
All right, we are back, and thank you so much for the 5-minute tip, for the tips that you've given us. And I know at home, if you want to start such a business, you know that it's not so hard, but kuna vitu kidogo kidogo here and there that you have to keep count on. So before you give us the tip, tulikuwa tumekuuliza about the place that you manufacture all your clothes, right?
Yes.
So is it the same place that you brand?
No. So we have someone else, another company that does our printing. So because that's also like a different other department.
Okay.
We would do it at the manufacturing company, and that's pretty much where we are going. We are transitioning everything to be at one point. Yeah.
And so it's very possible for the people who are manufacturing for you to also print for you.
Yes.
Then why are you not doing that already?
That's exactly what we are planning into.
Okay.
So we are changing that and looking at how viable it can be. There are different aspects, such as the quality of the print, which is what we are very keen on. So literally everything we produce, it has to be top-notch quality. So by the time we are probably changing to that, it has to go to different other tests to see how better we can do that. Yeah.
Just to make sure that it's of high quality.
Exactly.
All right. And now that I know you, most of the time you advertise yourself online.
Yes.
What's your target market?
So our target market is definitely the youth. However, we've seen different other people buying. So, and just also to mention that our specific products are targeted to different people.
Okay.
So not wholesomely as the brand. So we target, say for instance, like the jackets, we've targeted parents, so that's your 40 to 50, and also the youth, based on specific aspects such as the size. So you'd find like XL and 2XL probably fit more
of the older people.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But then our general feel is that our target audience is from 27 going up. That's unisex, because all our products are unisex.
Okay.
Yeah.
And now what about the kids?
Yes.
Will you also have their collection?
Yes, I'm glad that you've actually mentioned that. So we've actually just right now, we have the kids collection.
Okay.
We've just released that yesterday. We made it public yesterday. By the time we are shooting this.
Okay.
Yeah. So we have their hoodies. We have their sweatpants. Yeah, pretty much and different designs that come into it. So we think that this is going to also be like a very good ushering.
Like a project.
Yeah, exactly. We are very invested for the next generation. So we're making sure that they also have, and they're also wearing their identity.
Okay.
Yeah.
And now, is there any difference between producing the maybe kids collection and the collection older people in terms of the capital you put in or the price? So you'd advise someone, kama ndio anaanza, maybe aanze na a certain group.
Yes, so definitely in terms of how much you'd sell, that's a bit of there's going to be a bit of small cap from how much you sell at the adults, but then also producing really, because it uses less fabric as opposed to like the adult collections. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's pretty much the difference. However, in terms of just minimal price points and minimal price differences. In terms of the design, still the same process. Actually, our creative process is a very, very hands-on creative process where we ideate, we think, we pray for the designs and how does God want for them to look like. For instance, our logo is
the BOG.
It's the BOG. So the O is could you probably guess?
Okay.
Yeah, so people think
it's like this.
Yes. So people think it's an I. It's actually the DNA.
It looks like an I, actually.
Yes. So it's a DNA. It's the how can I call it? You know, it's you see the science for DNA.
Yes, I know, get it.
Yes. So that's the strand.
It's like
a DNA
now
strand.
an identity. Your DNA is in God.
You're smart. Yeah, you get it.
I do.
Exactly.
And now I also wanted to ask, would you maybe advise someone to get into such a business? Is it profitable for someone who's just starting? Ama ni zile tunasemanga lazima ukuwe na patience?
First of all, lazima ukuwe na patience, especially where a brand is concerned.
Yeah.
Doing a branding company is very simple. Because you get to customize for whoever. But then as a brand, you have to be really patient with it, because again, you're only selling a specific and a unique selling point.
Before people accept your brand.
Before people accept the brand, before people understand your brand, before people love what you do. So we pride ourselves to have 80 to 90% customer retention, which is a very great plus for us. So most of our customers literally buy from us every other time. If we have bomber jackets, they're the first people to have them.
Wow.
So it's that's pretty much what we are looking at in terms of patience as well.
All right.
Yeah.
You also mentioned about designing, and I'm seeing, like, for example, the t-shirts.
Yes.
Like, this is different from these, right?
Yes.
Then you also mentioned that you don't add anything.
Yes.
But for these, it's actually different from the bone of God.
Yes. So I'm glad you also mentioned that. Majorly because so we have different designs. So at this time, our model is in regards to graphic images or graphic designs. So you'd find the difference between one t-shirt to the other. For instance, I'm wearing the bone of God, one stripe African print. But then this was actually like our very first design. So you remember the detail I told you about the ID?
The ID.
Yeah, it goes, yes. So this is our first design. So our variations are in form of colors of t-shirts or colors of the product, as well as the design that is printed on that.
All right. And now how does that help you sell more?
It gives variety. So somebody would want, say right now, also another differentiation is that we have another collection that's graced different. So graced different, I know you'd probably see the wordplay on the design. Not a lot of people probably understand that on first glance. But so that's in terms of variation. The other thing is in terms of different people like their designs differently.
All right, so that means that when you're getting into this business of being a brand, you have to be creative and make everything unique.
Yes, but then it doesn't mean that you just need to do merchandising. So for instance, like for us, for now we have merchandising, which is your t-shirt, your sweatpant, your hoodies, but then we are also now looking to scale our product line and our product offering towards your jeans, your shirts, your
the
shoes.
Everyday wear.
Yeah, we actually soon enough.
And we also say that we already have
bucket hats. Yes, which you actually really look good in them.
Thank you.
Yeah, so we are diversifying in terms of your everyday wear, your shoes. We are going to be making shoes soon enough.
Okay.
We are also going into leather products probably by the end of this year.
Okay.
So yeah, so we are gearing up for actually planning the whole thing, not just in terms of merchandising, but then to your everyday wear.
Okay.
Yes.
So I'm feeling like the whole point here is, if you're out there and you want to start such a business, it doesn't matter where you are. Your capital yenye uko nayo, anza nayo. You started from 500 shillings, and now you're going to make shoes in the leather. So start from where you are. That's the whole point, right?
Yes.
I also see this card right here.
Yes.
What is it about, and how important is it in such a business? It's a cloth line. Why do you need this?
So the card is probably one of the most important things about us. So we've never, from when we started, it's not something we learned in
along
between.
the way.
We started from actually giving cards. So every person, say you buy a sweatpant, a kid's sweatpant, you get a card inside. So this card, the importance of this card is not only to show you, not only to appreciate that you purchased, but also to explain to you what Born of God really is, where is it from, and for you to understand better who you are. Because majorly we look at this as souls and sales. So we are more preaching towards the gospel, that people understand that they are born of God, and also have a better and intricate understanding that they are born of God. Then now where your product. Yes. So it goes in every package. So you get your card every time. Yeah.
As we wind up, I was also wondering, does it mean that you only sell to Christians?
No. So it's interesting that over the years, actually in 2020, we had a partnership with a lady called Miss Irene Ngendo. She's the Miss Africa Calabar.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah, she actually won the pageant. She was able to, or rather we got to partner with her to give t-shirts to different other people. So you'd find different people in the continent, in Africa, have our t-shirts, and Grace Different or Born of God. Some are Muslims, some are pagans or whatever, but then we are receiving very great feedback from them in terms of the impact of their identity. So it's not just Christians. Our outlook is just to make sure that they understand whoever
they really are.
Yes, then they come into the knowledge of Christ.
Yes. That's wonderful. So the most important thing,
yes,
as much as you're selling all these, you want to make money and make money enough. And you can't make money if you're not legal, right?
Yes.
Is there any certificate apart from the business permit that someone needs before you start a business, or as you continue the business, just to make sure that it stands and it's legalized?
Yes. So as far as my knowledge is right now, so you have to trademark your brand and your designs so that nobody else probably can use that. Specifically because if anybody else uses that or trademarks it, then you are liable not to probably own the rights to it. That's number one, which is probably important for you, just for your covering as a business. The other thing is incorporation. So in terms of registering your business as a sole proprietor or as a limited company. So that's also important. The other thing is KRA. So you need to be very hands-on with KRA, especially where your turnover is above 500,000 to 5 million. Then from 5 million you can now get to pay VAT. So at this point you probably can now pay income tax, your turnover tax, then also pay VAT as you continue.
All right.
Yeah.
So for your platforms, maybe if someone wants to get to you or contact you.
Great. So on Instagram we are BOG Africa. BOG Africa, that's on Instagram. Okay. Then for Facebook, it's the reverse. It's Africa BOG. Okay. Yes. That's for Facebook. Yes, that's for Facebook. All right. So Africa BOG, Instagram BOG Africa. Then we have a website. It's bogafrica.com. bogafrica.com. bogafrica.com, where you can order any of the products that we have on our website. That's where you can get us. You can also call, SMS, and WhatsApp us on 011 000 2610. Okay. 011 000 2610. Exactly. Okay. So that has been it, and I'd also want to partner with such a great business and a brand. It's a very good initiative, especially with where it was born and how it started. Thank you very much. All right. I hope you'd also want to partner with them. This has been Business Class with me, Rachel KAHUGU. Till next time.